All over the world, criminals thought they had finally found the perfect phone. It promised unbreakable encryption. No email, no calls, no GPS, just secure messages that no one could ever read. Drug bosses used it to move shipments across oceans. Money launderers used it to hide millions. Some users, investigators say, even discussed plans for violence on it, completely confident that no one was listening. But someone was listening. Every single message was being copied, in real time, to the one organization these criminals feared most. Because the phone itself, the entire secure network, was secretly built and run by the FBI. This is the story of the greatest sting the internet has ever seen. To understand how this happened, you have to understand a hidden industry. For years, organized crime had relied on special hardened phones, stripped-down devices that could only send encrypted messages to other devices like them. Companies sold them quietly, and the criminal world trusted them. Then, one by one, police began taking them down. An early target was a company called Phantom Secure, whose founder eventually pleaded guilty in the United States. Later, investigators cracked two of the biggest encrypted networks of all. Suddenly, the Underworld had a problem. The tools they relied on were falling, and everyone was hunting for the next safe place to talk. That vacuum, that desperate need for a new secure phone, was about to become the perfect trap. Here's where the plan turns audacious. Investigators realized they didn't need to break into the criminals' phones. What if, instead, the criminals could be persuaded to use a phone that the police already controlled? Around 2019, the FBI found its opening. A confidential source who had been developing a brand new encrypted device agreed to cooperate. Together with the Australian Federal Police, the FBI helped shape that device into a service called ANOM. And they built in something the users would never see. A hidden master key. Every message sent on ANOM, no matter how secure it looked to the sender, was quietly copied and routed to law enforcement. To the criminal world, ANOM looked like just another secure phone. In reality, it was a listening device with a perfect disguise. But a secure phone is only valuable if people trust it, and trust in the underworld has to be earned. So how did a brand new app spread to hundreds of criminal groups? The answer is the loop from our opening. The devices began passing through trusted hands. According to investigators, one influential figure, a fugitive accused of large-scale drug trafficking, became an enthusiastic promoter, recommending the phones to his contacts, without ever realizing what they truly were. From there, ANOM spread the way the best products do, by word of mouth. Criminals recommended it to other criminals as the safest option available. In just a couple of years, more than 12,000 devices reached over 300 criminal syndicates across more than 100 countries. The most trusted name in the underground was, unknowingly, selling phones for the FBI. For roughly 3 years, agents had a front-row seat to global organized crime. Millions of messages flowed in. Photographs of drug shipments hidden in cans and crates, detailed plans for smuggling routes, conversations about laundering enormous sums of money. Because the criminals believed they were completely safe, they spoke plainly, often with names, places, and dates. Investigators say the intelligence was so direct that, in some cases, they were able to quietly act on threats of violence before anyone was harmed. It was, in the words of officials, an unprecedented window into a world that usually stays in the shadows. But a window like that can't stay open forever. On June 8, 2021, the trap snapped shut. In a single coordinated operation spanning at least 16 countries, police carried out hundreds of raids at almost the same moment. When the dust settled, more than 800 people had been arrested, with the total climbing higher in the months that followed. The seizures were staggering: tens of tons of drugs, hundreds of weapons, luxury cars, and tens of millions of dollars in cash and cryptocurrency. Across the criminal world, a chilling realization spread from device to device. The app they had trusted with their darkest secrets had been run by the police the entire time. Overnight, the safest phone in the underworld became the most dangerous thing a criminal could be holding. And this is why the ANOM sting still fascinates people years later. Strip away the scale and the headlines, and you're left with the same lesson we keep finding. Silk Road, the great Twitter hack, and now this. None of them came down to some unbreakable code. They came down to trust, placed in the wrong hands. The criminals didn't lose because their encryption was weak. They lost because they trusted a tool that someone else secretly controlled. The operation also opened a real debate about surveillance, privacy, and how far law enforcement should go, a debate that is still very much alive. But the core truth is simple. In almost every system, the weakest point isn't the technology. It's who you choose to trust. At Shinwari Files, we follow the evidence, not the noise. New case files every week.